Welcome to this Friday's Jamaica Magazine. I'm Audrey Williams, and I'm excited to guide you through a wonderful journey over the next half hour. October 11 marks the International Day of the Girl Child, and this year's theme is Girls' Vision for the Future.
Happy International Day of the Girl Child.
This observation is a vital global occasion to celebrate girls everywhere, highlighting their voices, actions, and leadership. This day is for everyone who cares about girls and their rights. In this engaging installment of Jamaica Magazine, we'll hear directly from our girls. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. We'll be right back after the news.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, October 11, 2024. 144 two-bedroom units and 301 serviced lots at Perth Estate Phase 2 in Manchester were formally handed over to the proud beneficiaries on Wednesday. The keys and letters of possession were delivered by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness during a ceremony held by the National Housing Trust, NHT. Of the 445 housing solutions, 66 were reserved for public sector contributors and persons with disabilities. 63% of the selectees are between 41 and 60 years of age.
But importantly, to go back to our thrust for equity, 33% of those who are accessing mortgages in this development would pay between 0 and 2% interest. So that tells you that though the profile is more lower middle, there is also a deliberate thrust to ensure that persons who may be earning minimum wage to below $42,000 a month, that they are also captured in the profile. So generally we can say that Perth has a balanced profile of contributors to ensure that every aspect of the Jamaican society is represented here.
Perth Estate Phase 2 offers a total of 458 two-bedroom units and 773 serviced lots and is being developed at a cost of $14.2 billion. The remaining solutions are to be delivered at a later date. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness says the NHT continues to make progress on its mandate to deliver over 43,000 housing solutions within the next 5 years. Giving a breakdown, Dr. Holness points out that 4,856 solutions from 21 projects are currently under construction across 9 parishes. Contracts have been approved for 11 projects to deliver 10,515 units, while 23 projects comprised of nearly 15,000 units are currently going through the procurement and negotiation process. Additionally, the NHT is in the planning and design phase for 11,000 housing solutions from another 17 projects. There is also the Mount Nelson development in Manchester with 1,468 housing solutions and 820 units in Albion.
Never before in the history of Jamaica has the NHT had so many houses under construction. Never, ever, ever.
The Prime Minister says the plans for these projects were set back for 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the impact of a rise in inflation and supply chains which affected construction. He reiterates that these developments are not the government's only strategies to deal with the country's 150,000 housing deficit.
The NHT, through the policy of the government, has now worked out how it is going to knock off 43,000 of that 150. But the NHT is not the only instrument of the government's housing plan. We have the Housing Agency of Jamaica, and they have another 15,000 houses that they will deliver. And then the government, through other initiatives, such as the Bernard Lodge development, which will deliver another 10,000 or more housing solutions.
Prime Minister Holness was addressing Wednesday's ceremony to hand over 445 housing solutions at Perth Estate Phase 2 in Manchester. The 2024 Grade 4 PEP exam results are now out, and the Ministry of Education says they indicate a positive trend, with more students achieving proficiency or higher in both mathematics and language arts compared to last year. The ministry released the results across various regions and schools yesterday. 33,540 Grade 4 students participated in the assessments for language arts and literacy performance task, as well as mathematics and numeracy performance task. 38.7% of students reached proficiency or above in mathematics, an increase from 32.3% in 2023. In language arts, the proficiency rate moved from 38.7% to 44.3%. There was also improvement in students who mastered the numeracy and literacy performance task components. This year, 65.1% achieved mastery in literacy, while 69.9% achieved mastery in numeracy. Education Minister Favour Williams has commended the students on their achievements and expressed gratitude to educators and parents for their collaborative efforts, which have helped to drive this year's PEP 4 results. The security forces are to be mobilized to ensure the continuation and completion of rehabilitation works on the Mandela Highway. The National Works Agency had to abort work to improve the section through Central Village yesterday due to the actions of criminals. The work crew carrying out preparatory works for the patching of the road left the corridor after criminals sought to extort the contractor. But the minister with responsibility for the works portfolio, Robert Morgan, says he has been in touch with the police high command to provide security on the project. The minister is adamant that no act of criminality will prevent the government from making the Mandela Highway safer for road users. The work forms part of interventions to improve corridors impacted by Hurricane Beryl and subsequent rains. It is being done under the Relief, Emergency Assistance and Community Help REACH program, being executed at a total cost of $3 billion. Jamaica has supported an updated strategy to accelerate actions for meeting targets of tobacco control in the Americas. The updated strategy was developed by the Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, and presented at its 61st Directing Council meeting held in Washington last week. Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton, led Jamaica's delegation to the meeting.
A big discussion point here is continuing the thrust around controlling and hopefully eliminating over time tobacco consumption, including the new wave devices, e-cigarettes. PAHO has been working with member countries to look at the legislation and the policies around controlling cigarettes. As you know, we have comprehensive legislation that's coming.
Dr. Tufton says the country must ensure tobacco control measures are integrated into the non-communicable disease response to reduce mortality and morbidity. He says a robust public education campaign will be done to support implementation of control strategies. And finally, the Ministry of Health and Wellness says it has now issued commitment letters to tertiary institutions for the more than 400 recipients of the Dr. Barry Wint Memorial Scholarship who have signed the bond with the Ministry of Finance. The ministry says it will continue to dialogue with the respective institutions, and they will now work through their internal processes to address any challenges that the students may be experiencing. Scholarship recipients who are yet to complete the bonding process have until Friday, October 18, to do so. Those facing challenges with meeting the requirements of their bonding agreement are encouraged to contact the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Awardees may call 876-922-8600, visit the office at 30 National Heroes Circle, Kingston 4, or send an email to colette.mccausland@mof.gov.jm. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
Practicing good oral health is essential in maintaining fresh breath and a healthy smile. Always remember to brush twice daily for 2 minutes with fluoride toothpaste to strengthen tooth enamel and help fight gum disease. Always brush in a circular motion using a soft toothbrush. Floss once daily to remove food particles between the teeth and the gum line. Use a mouthwash to clean areas of the mouth a toothbrush or floss can't reach. Change your toothbrush every 3 to 4 months. Visit your dentist every 6 months for checkups and cleaning. And be sure to drink water to keep gum disease, plaque, and cavities at bay. Remember, good oral health is key to a healthy mouth.
According to the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, a striking fact is that 1 in 3 adolescent girls suffer from anemia, a form of malnutrition. Together, we can all change that. On a different note, our upcoming feature will showcase the cultural and physical experiences of girls who have been raised on Caribbean soil.
Every culture has a body of stories and successive generations of storytellers who represent the memory of those people.
And so, understanding who we are completely entails releasing any doubts we may have about ourselves.
What I would like to know is why are there less light-skinned persons and more black-skinned persons in Jamaica?
To understand more of where I'm from and being more conscious. I don't think you can ever be too conscious.
Why some black people don't really like their color.
My blackness is more than just what happened in slavery times. It's more than that. We're bringing something in that I believe that we need to tell that story.
Dear Black girl, here's an extraordinary tale of your history, and it begins here.
Most black persons would have come to this region through the process of enslavement. And so that has shaped a lot of our experiences, our cultural experiences, our physical experiences as well. So we can't deny that. But I think that what really should be noted for Jamaican and Caribbean women is that we've had an experience too of resisting. So resisting enslavement, resisting encroachment on our bodies, these types of things are part of your experience as well.
Negro is so often miseducated that we believe we're not contributing unless we have on high heel shoes and stocking and jacket and tie and all of these wonderful things that some outside force tells us that we ought to be.
I think that in Jamaica we can take a lot of things for granted, and one of that is our blackness, right? And so because we take it for granted, we will bleach our skin and we try to look like, our European brothers and sisters, but in all aspects, we are supposed to celebrate our blackness.
There is a general lack of education that we as black people have about the greatness of our skin, of our skin color.
Melanin is so important that it protects us from the sun's harmful UV rays and, for the most part, keeps us safe from skin cancer.
My blackness is unique. My blackness is strong. My blackness is culture.
My blackness is special, unique, and strong.
My blackness is phenomenal. My blackness is what makes me beautiful.
My blackness has allowed for certain opportunities as well, because say in a space they want to show diversity, I would be able to represent there as well.
So when we step out and we go to different countries or we're leaving the island, we know within ourselves that we are, bringing something, that we are a brand, right? And so when we go amongst other people, we're not going to feel inferior. We're not going to feel as though we don't contribute to something. We will be able to say, hey, you know, I bring something because I know what my blackness is.
Traditionally, Jamaican women have also charted their own course in business, in politics, in work in the public sphere. I think generally we have not been very much conforming to what is expected of womanhood for the most part.
What is happening now? We are picking up some habits that I don't like. We're taking the foreign stuff. You cannot take somebody else's culture and put it on your kids. A person who doesn't know their culture is lost. God made us so beautiful. God made us so beautiful. And we should embrace what God gives to us. Don't try and change it. This is who I am. It's not a struggle. It's not a challenge. It just is.
So, to self. Don't try to change me. Don't try to lock me up. For my ancestors have said it, and I believe in it. Black girls are exquisitely beautiful in every shade.
We need all Jamaicans to know that child abuse is not just an issue for the government, it's an issue for all Jamaicans. So we need everybody to help us to protect our children. If you know of a child who is being victimized, a child who is abused or neglected, just make that report so we can get that child the help they need. Calling or reporting is easy. All you have to do is remember to call 211. If you are an adult, if you're a child, if you are in church, in your community group, wherever you are, once you are aware there's a child who is in need of care and protection, just be the one and call 211.
Here's another important fact. Globally, 75% of new HIV infections among adolescents occur in girls. Take a moment to reflect on that. Now let's shift gears with our next feature, where we'll share some tips on how to build your homes to withstand the unique conditions of a tropical climate.
In the world of construction, building for a tropical climate is not as unique as it may seem. According to Peter Jervis, a civil and structural consulting engineer with over 40 years of experience, the principles of sound construction are largely universal, regardless of the climate. However, local factors such as weather and soil conditions do play a significant role in design choices and material selection. One of the first points Mr. Jervis makes in our discussion is that not all buildings require oversight by an engineer.
Residential homes of 3,000 to 4,000 square foot or less need not have a design document by an engineer, but it ought to at least be approved by the parish council. Larger fancy homes generally are more than 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, and those have large spans and big openings. They've even moved to 10-foot high doors these days, you know, in the new modern styling. They ought to be designed by an engineer.
poured concrete walls have become the standard in Jamaican construction, while block and steel are still widely used. These materials can slow down the pace of fast-moving projects due to the additional rough casting and rendering required. Wooden construction, however, faces more difficulties in Jamaica, primarily due to the prevalence of termites. As noted by Mr. Jervis, wood must be kept off the ground and chemically treated to prevent termite damage.
We can use steel stud framework, steel framework and studs, those are the light gauge profiles that are used to hold drywall and cement board. You can build with that. That's good. And if that's properly braced, it's resistant to everything.
Water management is a critical concern in tropical construction, particularly in regions that experience heavy rainfall.
When water blows on a wall, it runs down and goes in wherever it can. So the porosity of a wall can only be protected against with latex type pins. And you really should paint your windward wall every 5 years, because basic emulsion paints break down. They become powdery after all the sun and weather. So urban situations, Havendale, the flatter areas, Meadowbrook, Three Views, all of these semi-flat places will have water problems and settlement of their footings. Principally one, because they put flower beds against the buildings. When you mulch up and water and allow rainwater to settle against your building, it only soaks down. And it soaks through the backfill after you build the building. You dig a trench, put the foundations, bring up the walls, and then you backfill. If you keep soaking that with water for horticulture or poor drainage, underneath the footing gets soft and soil behaves like toothpaste. Squeeze down here, it's going to do this. So it squeezes out from under the footing and the wall settles. And all of a sudden your square window turns into a parallelogram and your grill can't open because you have that differential settlement. So that's one of the big hiccups. Drain your roof water away from the house by every means possible.
Or
dig a soak-away pit, much like what you used to do for sewage.
building near the shoreline in Jamaica brings its own set of regulations and risks.
First of all, legally, you're not to build within 150 feet of the shore. So those who build close to the shore have unusual and extraordinary privilege. Because KCC not going to approve a house within 150 foot of the shoreline. No parish council will, unless you have a particularly special resort accommodation.
In a hot tropical climate, cooling becomes a critical issue for homeowners. Solar power is recommended as an efficient way to offset energy costs.
Cooling is critical. If you want to use the old conventional sheet metal roofing, you should not have exposed rafters and sarking, because the sheet metal heats up that wood and that radiates heat all day into the night, like a slab roof. You should have a drop ceiling like this. You should have a ceiling, whether it's Solitex board or plywood or anything. That air cavity prevents the radiated heat from the sheeting from disturbing you in the house. And you should really have a vent in that ceiling space. With air conditioning, keep your unit almost at eye level. There's no point cooling air above your head.
A major barrier to proper construction for many Jamaicans is the lack of land titles.
Nobody is going to invest on something that they're not sure of.
So, it's best to start with a plan and a secure lot. Through his decades of experience, Peter Jervis's advice: invest in doing it right the first time. Proper planning, drainage, and engineering are essential, particularly in a tropical climate like ours.
DEAF. Deaf means what? D is for determined. I know my role. I will go in pursuit of my goal. E is for empathetic. When others try to put me down, I just smile and never ever frown. A is for ambitious. I have a great plan and goal. I am deaf, but I am whole. F is for fearless. I must be courageous, for to be anything else is outrageous. DEAF. Deaf. That's what being deaf means to me.
All children deserve positive parenting. Why not pamper us? Be patient with us. Make time to teach us and, of course, play with us. Celebrate milestones with us and don't forget to be our #1 supporter. Do all these things and practice positive parenting today.
Let me direct your attention to Stephanie Morgan, one of the guidance counselors of Anchovy High School, as she discusses the differences she has observed between girls and boys at her school, along with the daily challenges that girls face.
For girls, as you know, females are more in touch with their emotions, and they tend to be more forward in terms of speaking up about the challenges that they're having.
You know, sometimes I feel more than the boys just because of my gender. I overcome it by reminding myself that I am appreciated and I'm valued and I'm just as important as the boys.
I use this quote from our national hero Marcus Garvey. It says, if you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life.
Just to remind you that you're a girl, we're all beautiful ladies and gentlemen, and we can overcome everything, and just to be on the right path and don't let anybody get into the way.
Here on International Day of the Girl Child, my message to you is to love yourself.
We've reached the end of our program. Get a recap of everything you saw here and more on our website, jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.